What's up, YouTube? Today I want to do a video about a topic that affects the whole Earth right now. I guess the whole planet, and like with it lives in people's minds. It affects a lot of what goes on in the world, of how we think, how we perceive ourselves. It's about race. And growing up, I remember as a little boy, I thought race was a reality because the way it's taught, it's like I thought there were black people and there were white people and there were differences, and that was a legit biological difference in human beings. I really thought that was a reality. But lately I've learned that race is a construct. As you grow up and you learn things for yourself, I've learned race is a construct. The actual definition is it's a categorization of people based on skin color, similar features, and shared geographical location or shared ancestry. And interestingly enough, learning that race is a construct, it was very interesting to me to see how much this one concept has caused so much hurt in the world, and it's not even real. It's if you think about it in that way, it's not real. It's a social construct. The reason why I say this is from race came things like racism. So racism is a result when somebody actually identifies so much of their race and they feel that they are superior. They feel they are superior. They feel like they deserve more. They feel like whatever, just because of their skin color, because of their features and where they grew, where their ancestors are from. They walk around with a sense of superiority because of it. And there is no and I learned that there's no biological basis of race. And it got me thinking, how can something with no biological basis be such a strong mechanism in our minds that it to this day people identify as black, as white, as yellow, whatever that their race is supposed to be, they identify as that. And I realized something that, and I wrote this down once in a book, in my book, like, if a lie is told long enough, it actually starts taking the form of truth. And it's very easy to deny obvious truths for systematic lies. So it's actually easier to engulf something that's just systematically taught to you. So you're a melanated person, you're born from your mother. You don't know nothing. You're born, if you were a baby and you were if a baby born from a Caucasian mother or Asian mother, you wouldn't care. Neither would you even worry about it. Maybe as a baby you notice that, oh, this person has a different facial feature than me, so you try to touch it and grab their hair or something. But you ain't watching like, oh, this is a yellow person, this is a brown person, this is a black person. But it showed me that when you're born a melanated person, you're born to this world and you're given an identity, which we're given many identities when we come into this world, and one of them is your race. You're told you're black. Now some may say, well, Tyler, what is the problem with that? What's wrong with being black? As somebody, just say my personal experience, as somebody who tends to think my own thoughts, and you notice people of all well, races go through this. Every race comes with a certain culture. It comes with a certain way that you're supposed to act. It comes with a certain expectation of you about your life, your goals, what you should be interested in. And the hurt comes when you may be that one person that you don't identify with that culture, or your thinking is different. You think that the culture sold to you was false. When I look at some of the things that are claimed as black culture, they are very negative to me. There's a lot of things that we claim that are claimed as black culture that, as a little boy growing up, I realized this is keeping us in bondage. But we claim it and we cling to it so heavily that, and if and we fight off um any opposition to these identities because we so identify with this race. And I would just wonder if more people I got to know that this is not real. I'm just curious. how would people really then react? Because death, identity death is really painful. And when I myself went for it, because if you ask me if I am black, I will say, honestly, I'll let you know. Like I said, like I live in a world where race is a thing. So I say, yes, I guess I am according to what they will ask me about and jobs in school. And I guess I'm a black African American. That's what they would say. But as a person who understands myself, I'm not black. I'm a human being. And I'm a human being with my own thoughts, with my own ambitions, and I am I am part of one species on this planet called Homo sapiens, humans. That's what I'm part of. I don't feel as strongly as a connection to being black anymore, because I feel like when you're so connected with just with the little parts and little identities given to us at birth, sometimes you forget humanity. You forget that you're part of humans, and this is where the horrors of racism come into play. You start identifying so much with a group, you think it's okay to take another person's life. Those people are subhuman. It also comes with also like other identities and facts that we're all asked to subscribe to. You think your identity, you think your creed is better, and you think your creed is so better to the point that you feel like everybody else is subhuman and not deserving of a life, not deserving of a equal chance, and you walk around with that air about you. You actually walk around and treat people based on things that are not even real, and that was the kicker for me. Like when I really look at the world and when I really look at how people treat each other, all my life I believed this thing was real, so I thought certain things was justified. But I mean, like, wow, this is not even a real thing. Like race is not even real. It was just a social construct. In From my own studies, what happened was when Europeans started to go around the planet and they wanted to better, I guess, group people because there were so many different people on the planet. Um, they just decided to say, okay, let's just divide people by skin color. Those are black people, those are dark people, those are, they call certain people Indians if they had certain features, like that kind of thing. That's what they did. And it's sad how much it's sad how much we still believe these things, and we still treat each other about these old ways of thinking that are not based on a biological basis. They're not really based in any truth. It's just based on a social construct. And the pain is you almost feel obligated to submit to your whatever race you're supposed to be. Like there's some white people and it happens to all people. It's not just black people. It happens to all people who they feel like they need to be part of something that they really don't want to be part of. They may have a different idea, and like I'll give you a personal example. I wanted to do certain things in college, and one thing people always told me was, "Oh, Tyler, those kind of things. There's always a white person in front of you. There's always the Asian person in front of you. They're not gonna choose you as a black person. As a black person, you need to stay in certain lanes." And those lines that are drawn based on something that's not even real, it's quite ridiculous to me. And I feel like as human beings, we all must be part of the quest for truth, and we must let us discriminate. Let us discriminate and draw lines based on true things. Drawing lines based on fantasies, it's just like a waste of human life. A lot of human beings come to this world and they waste their life based on fantasies. At least if you for a real difference, from in my opinion, if you believe, if you, let's say you're from a certain country, all of your people are from that country. Another country comes in and they say, we want your country, and you die fighting for your country because that's where you're from and that's where your homeland is. That is very different of somebody killing you because of a skin color. And what's crazy is you may actually be related to people who don't share your skin color, because as we've noticed, even in the black community alone, they come in so many shapes and sizes and colors. And ultimately, again, doing my own studies about these things, scientific sources, even religious sources, which are the two like information, like the history of the world information things that we have in the world right now, they all teach something very similar. You know, whether you're not a religious person or a scientific person, they both teach something very similar about the genesis of humanity. It's that it came from a singular point, you know. And if we could focus more on the fact that humanity came from a singular point, there'll be no reason to think that just because you got a long nose, you're more superior than somebody, or your white skin or your lighter skin makes you more superior, or your darker skin makes you more superior. Oh, I got my lips are curved downward, so I must like these things that the genesis of humanity all comes from a singular point. And if we could if we could focus on those realities and get rid of some of these fantasies, we'll allow people to live more, and we'll be, even as people in who share a culture, we'll be more understanding of maybe a black man or a black woman, so-called black woman, so-called black man, who may not want to live the conventional life of a black person. You know what I'm saying? Or a white person who may not want to live the conventional life of how white people are supposed to live. So these are my thoughts, and it's just sad how much fantasies can cause so much hurt in the planet, and we could cling so much to them like they're actual reality. And you grow up with these things and you actually think they're real. You know, it's kind of sad.